Good morning, third standard. How are you all? Before the autumn holidays, I had, or I think last week, I had sent you the audio of this story, The Treasure. So I'll just explain it a bit and then we will discuss it a bit more. Okay. So this is Mrs. Damla, the class teacher, and she is giving them some homework. So normally on a Friday there is no homework. Okay, weekend there is no homework. So Omar, that child, he said. So what was the homework? They had to find a treasure from the treasure map. So Omar put up his hand and he said, "Are there any real treasures hidden in our neighborhood, Mrs. Dumbler?" So she says, "Yes, of course." And then it is Friday and everybody goes home. Okay. Now, what is the children's homework? They have to look at the map and find the treasure. Okay. Why aren't the children happy? Why are they not happy? Aren't Parimbo are not in the short form. Okay. Why aren't the children happy? Because they don't like to get homework on the weekend. Okay. Why did the children run out of the door? They ran out of the door because it is Friday. Right. Let's go to the next one. Oops, sorry. Yeah. So this is Omar. He's in his bedroom and then he looks at his map. So he didn't want to do the homework, but he thought, okay, let's see what's the treasure hunt. So he looks at the map and he finds an X. Okay, so this is the map. See, X. And whose house is it? Omar's house. Okay, that boy's house. Um, Omar's house. So he said, "Oh, I'm the treasure. That's funny." And then he asked his mother, "Amma, am I the treasure? Treasure bana Nidhi." Okay. So the mother said, "Yes, of course I do. You're a Nidhi Anna, treasure Anna." Then there was a knock at Omar's door and it was Azra, his friend. Okay. So Azra said, she asked, what do you want to do? So let's play something or watch a film. So Omar said, why don't we do the treasure hunt? We'll find the treasure before everyone else. So Azra said, okay, let's go. So the first X on the map was Omar's house. True or false? True. Omar wanted to play online. No. Omar wanted to find the treasure. So it is false. Azra thought it was a good idea to go on the treasure hunt. Yes, she says, good idea. So it's true. So ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യന് ആൻസർ യെസ് ആണെങ്കിൽ ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് ട്രൂ. Okay. And if it is no, അല്ല വേറെ വല്ല ആൻസർ ആണെങ്കിൽ it is false. Okay, so that's how you find out. They then went to the park because there was an X marked on the map. And then they looked everywhere. They looked on the slide, the swings, in the sand pit, but they couldn't find anything. Where is the treasure? Uh, but it was such a hot afternoon, and they looked everywhere. They were getting tired. They near the sand pit, the swing. They looked. So they decided, okay, let's have a ice cream. So they went to Mr. Pollard. Okay, so that's Mr. Pollard. So they went to Mr. Pollard and they said, can we have ice cream? He said, okay, great. So he gives them the ice cream and the Mr. Pollard says, oh, it's $3. Okay. So Omar says, oh, I've got only two. I've got only $2. I'm sorry, Mr. Pollard. So what does Mr. Pollard say? He says, oh, don't worry, it's a very hot day. You can bring me the rest of the money tomorrow. Nala tanna money. Don't worry. Oh, thank you, Mr. Pollard. You're so kind. Okay, so they happily eat the ice cream and they move on. Okay. Um, and then the rest of the afternoon, the children went visiting all the places marked with an X. Okay, so first they went to the library to see if there is anything there. Do you have any treasures, Mrs. S? And she says, treasures? Yeah, she said, I've got a lot of books. Books are treasures. And then there are some homemade cakes also. Yum. Then on the way home, they met the local police officer who helped them cross the road. See, the police officer is helping them cross the road. Um so they asked the police officer, have you seen any hidden treasure? So the police officer shook his head and he laughed a deep laugh. Okay. Then they asked the gardener who was planting some beautiful flowers. Okay. Asked him whether he had seen any treasure. So he also said no. He shook his head. Then the veterinarian, animal doctor, who had two pups in his hand. Two kittens in his hand. So he also said, no, I didn't see any treasure. So then, sorry, they didn't get any treasure, but they had a good time. They went back home, but they had a good time looking for it. They had a good afternoon. So then they went on Monday. They went to school. Omar was worried because he had not got the treasure. So Mrs. Damla uh, she came into the classroom and on the whiteboard, it was written community. All the people living in a particular area or place. ഒരു particular സ്ഥലത്ത് എല്ലാ ആൾക്കാർ താമസിക്കുന്ന എല്ലാവരും കൂടി ഒപ്പം താമസിക്കുന്നതിനാണ് community പറയുന്നത്. Communities are full of treasures, children, said Mrs. Damla. Think for a few minutes. What are the real treasures in a community? Omar ആലോചിച്ചു. He thought about the great afternoon he had with Azra, playing in the park, the delicious ice cream from kind Mr. Pollard, the great story they read in the library, and then the librarian gave them some homemade cakes, the police officer's funny laugh. The people in my community are the treasures, thought Omar. They were there all along. Treasure partner doesn't mean only money. It can be people, it can be the facilities that you have, the kindness that people show. Okay, those are the different kinds of treasures. I don't think there are any questions here. Okay. So the 6 community helpers that we saw, let's see. We had the librarian, the police officer, the community gardener, the veterinarian, the teacher, of course, then the ice cream Mr. Pollard. They're all part of the community. Right? 3 things you can find in a park. Definitely, without having a look, you can say swing, slide, a garden. Okay. A baby cat is called a kitten. What is it called? Kitten. 2 types of food. Okay, what did we find? The ice cream was there. Then they went to the library and they had homemade cakes. Yum. Um, so the treasure പറയണത് നിധി എന്നുള്ള പറയണത് ആൾക്കാരെയാണ് ഈ കഥയിൽ ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത്. Okay, so there are many people in your life, in your community, that are your treasures. ഒന്ന് നിങ്ങൾ 5 minutes just sit down and think of all the people who help you out. Like, for instance, of course, your family, father, mother and all. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് പാല് കൊണ്ടുവരുന്ന ആള്, വെജിറ്റബിൾസ് കൊണ്ടുവരുന്ന ആള്, നിങ്ങളുടെ വീട്ടിൽ ജോലി ചെയ്യാൻ ചിലപ്പോൾ ഒരു ചേച്ചി വരുന്നുണ്ടാവും, അവര്, ദ പോസ്റ്റ്മാൻ. ഓക്കെ, അപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങളെ കാണുമ്പോൾ കുട്ടി പഠിച്ചോ എന്നൊക്കെ ചിലപ്പോൾ ചോദിക്കില്ലേ. So many other people. റേഷൻ ഷോപ്പിലേക്ക് പോകുമ്പോൾ റേഷൻ ഷോപ്പിലത്തെ ആള്, your neighbors. Okay, so there are so many people who are there in part of your community. Okay, so this is just an explanation. Tomorrow I'm going to give you the soundtrack again. Soundtrack വെച്ചിട്ട് you have to answer a few questions. Okay, അത് നാളേക്കാണ്. ഇന്നേക്ക് just understand what this treasure is and what they mean by that. All right? Okay. So that's it for today, third standard. Have a lovely day. Enjoy yourself. You don't have to write anything, but just sit for 5 minutes and think of all the people in your life that make it easier for you. Okay? All right. Okay, then take care. Bye bye. Jai Hind.